Mr. Beebe, if you could please raise your right hand.
I'm right now.
Okay. Mr. Beebe, you can please state your true and correct legal name.
Say it again.
Can you please state your true and correct legal name?
Rante PV.
And are you the same person referred to on the indictment you just signed of 22 SC 183572? Did you just sign that indictment?
Yes.
Okay. Are you at this time taking or under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medicine?
No, ma'am.
How old are you?
23.
And how far did you go in school?
I went far.
What's that mean?
Like 12.
You went to 12th grade?
Mm-hmm.
Did you graduate?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
I mean, yes.
Okay. Are you able to read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes.
With respect to indictment 22 SC 183572, how do you plead to conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organization Act? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
How do you plead to theft by receiving stolen property? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
How do you plead to violation of the Georgia Controlled Substance Act in count 9? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
How do you plead to violation of the Georgia Controlled Substance Act as to count 10? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
How do you plead to possession of a firearm by a convicted felon?
Guilty.
How do you plead to participation in criminal street gang activity?
Guilty.
How do you plead to armed robbery reduced to robbery by force?
Guilty.
How do you plead to hijacking a motor vehicle in the first degree?
Guilty.
Is this guilty plea freely and voluntarily given with a full knowledge of the charges against you?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have only a limited right to appeal this guilty plea conviction?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have only 4 years from today's date for the felony charges to file a habeas corpus petition challenging the voluntariness of this guilty plea?
Yes.
Your Honor, had this case proceeded to trial, the state of Georgia would have proved beyond a reasonable doubt that in late 2012, within the Cleveland Avenue area of Atlanta, Georgia, that YSL, who claimed affiliation with the National Blood Gang, was formed. The founders of that organization were Jeffrey Williams, also known as Young Thug, also known as Slime, Walter Murphy, also known as DK, and Trontavia Stevens, also known as Tick or Slug. That this organization uses a number of different identifiers, including colors, clothing, tattoos, and hand signs in order to show affiliation with that organization. That this organization is part of the enterprise, which is Young Slime Life, and that this defendant was a member of this enterprise and conspired to and associate together with others for the common purposes of illegally obtaining money and property through a pattern of racketeering activity and conducting and participating in the enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity. In furtherance of the conspiracy, he engaged in a number of different crimes. Specifically, Your Honor, 2 of those crimes in racketeering activity, first being one occurring on May 8th, 2012 at 151 Cleveland Avenue, which is in Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, 30315, which is an Exxon gas station in what is known to be the Young Slime Life gang territory. That Mr. Beebe was a part of an undercover sting operation at the gas station. Officer Applewhite, APPLEWHAITE, was operating in an undercover capacity. He went inside of the gas station and encountered the defendant. Officer Applewhite asked to purchase marijuana. The defendant asked how much. How much marijuana? Officer Applewhite advised he wanted $20 worth. The defendant then went into the area of the store, weighed up the marijuana, and gave that marijuana to Officer Applewhite. Once the sale was completed, other officers came in and placed Mr. Beebe under arrest. When they placed him under arrest, he was found with marijuana on his person as well as a gun. The gun was then ran and it came back stolen out of East Point Police Department from a car break-in in August of 2019. Additionally, Your Honor, about a year and 6 months later, in October 12, 2021, this defendant, along with co-conspirator Christian Eppinger, were at 47 Cleveland Avenue, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, which is also in the Young Slum Life gang territory. While there, the victim, Mr. Darius Smith, was at that location, which is a park next to a library. Mr. Smith was speaking with a friend of his, and while speaking with that friend, there were two black males described. One had a blue and black ski mask with a black and silver handgun. The other suspect had a black ski mask with a black handgun. They approached Mr. Smith and stated to him, "Give up that chain." Mr. Smith had a large chain that was very identifiable. That chain was a diamond encrusted chain that looked like a house and said "Trap Commander" on it. They also took additional jewelry and other items from Mr. Smith, to include earrings, a diamond and gold necklace, 2 iPhones, his car keys. They then went and jumped inside of his vehicle, which was a 2003 GMC Savannah. They then fled the location after robbing him. Again, both of the individuals had guns. Mr. Smith initially called 911. He had left the location. A friend was able to take him to his brother's house, which was in Clayton County. When he called 911 in Clayton County, they advised he had to come back to the city of Atlanta. He did come back to the city of Atlanta and was able to encounter police, where he reported what happened to him a few hours earlier. During his time in explaining to the police what happened, he gave a description of one of the defendants. He said that he knew or was familiar with one of the defendants from the neighborhood. Although he had a ski mask on, he noticed 2 things: his eyes as well as his hands, and that he was missing a finger. After that, Mr. Smith was able to provide to law enforcement officers social media pages of first Durante Beebe wearing his chain and identifying him as the person with the missing finger that had robbed him. Mr. Beebe was on social media promoting the chain, having the chain, some would say flossing the chain in front of the camera, which was the chain that was stolen from him. Further investigation into social media, the officers were able to identify the co-defendant, Christian Eppinger, as the other person who robbed him. Officers were also able to get the social media information from Instagram, and they actually found on Instagram a recording of Christian Eppinger bragging about robbing Darius Smith that was turned over in discovery. After arrest warrants were taken out, Mr. Beebe was arrested, interesting enough, back at that same location in November of 2021 at the same 47 Cleveland Avenue, where he was arrested, arrested on these charges. And then Christian Eppinger was arrested subsequently on these charges in February of 2022 after he shot Officer David Rogers. Additionally, Your Honor, we have social media postings of Mr. Beebe and Mr. Eppinger that are a part of our overt acts in this indictment, which shows them being part of and associated with the conspiracy. Mr. Beebe in Act 143 of count 1 of our indictment is posting a picture along with co-conspirator Christian Eppinger wearing what we call an OTS sweatshirt, which is only the slime sweatshirt and sweatpants, again showing his association with the enterprise and the fact that he's acting in furtherance of this enterprise and to promote this enterprise, Your Honor. This is some of the evidence that the state would intend to show if this case were to move forward with trial, Your Honor.
Mr. Beebe, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, did you have the opportunity to fully discuss the facts and circumstances of this case and the matters in indictment 21 SC 177912 and 23 CP 218502 with your attorney, Mr. Partridge, to your satisfaction?
Yes, sir.
And do you have any questions about any of the rights that you give up by entering a guilty plea in this case? Those rights were set forth on the record by Ms. Simone Hilton from the District Attorney's Office. Do you have any questions about those rights you wish to ask me?
No, sir.
Did you give this plea, did you have a chance to also read and sign the indictment that I'm holding up here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you have any questions about the indictment as it pertains to you in counts 1, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 27, or 28 you want to ask me?
No, sir.
All right, I don't know if the indictment's been signed, the plea has been entered. Mr. Beebe, based upon the responses that you've given during the court's inquiry, I'm going to find that your guilty plea is freely and voluntarily entered. I find a factual basis for your plea, and I'm going to accept your plea as tendered and as negotiated. So as to count 1, conspiracy to violate the Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act, this court will sentence you in accordance with your negotiated plea to 10 years to serve 5 years with the balance probated. As to count 8, theft by receiving stolen property felony, this court will sentence you in accordance with the negotiated plea to 2 years commuted time served concurrent with count 1. As it pertains to count 9, violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, this court will sentence you to 2 years commuted to the time you've already served concurrent to count 1. Did I say count 8 correctly? Count 8 is theft by receiving stolen property.
Yes.
All right, okay, let me just redo that one again. That's theft by receiving stolen property firearm. The court will sentence you to, that's count 8, 2 years commuted to time served concurrent with count 1. We go back through count 9, that's a violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act. That's 2 years commuted to time you've already served concurrent with count 1. As it pertains to count 10, violation of the Georgia Controlled Substances Act, this court will sentence you to 2 years commuted to time served concurrent with count 1. As it pertains to count 11, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, this court will sentence you to 5 years to serve concurrent with count 1. Count 12, participation in criminal street gang activity, this court will sentence you to 5 years consecutive to count 1. And on count 27, armed robbery, this court will follow the recommendation, and on a reduction to robbery by force, will sentence you to 10 years to serve 5 years with a balance on probation. As it pertains to count 28, hijacking a motor vehicle in the first degree, this court will sentence you to 10 years to serve 5 years concurrent to count 1 with a balance on probation. The special, I'll also give you credit toward the sentence that has been or is going to be adjudged from November the 17th of 2021 toward the adjudicated time that you may have to serve on a couple of these counts. The state has also acknowledged that they're going to pull or withdraw the recidivist notice, so that you will be eligible at some point in time at the discretion of the Department of Corrections, as we mentioned, to be parole eligible. I don't know when that will be. I'm just going to tell you that because that's their exclusive purview. But at some point in time, by withdrawing that notice, they will be able to consider you for parole, okay? All right, special conditions of your sentence are as follows. You shall abide by each and every and all terms of the negotiated plea. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you're called to testify by any party in this case, the state's not going to call you, but if any of the other parties call you, you have to testify truthfully, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. You can't possess any guns unless and until your right to do so is restored. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. You cannot commit any criminal acts. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
You can't promote or allude to YSL in public on any social media platform. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. And failure to abide by any special condition of probation shall result in a revocation. That means you'll come back before myself or another judge to determine whether or not you've violated the terms and conditions of your probation. So it will subject you to a revocation, and if that revocation is proven The state's telling you that they're gonna ask that any remaining portion be revoked. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. You also acknowledge the fact that you've given up your Fifth Amendment right related to any statement contained within the defendant's factual acknowledgments, which is a separate document which you are going to sign. You understand that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Mr. Beebe's explained that to you? Mr. Partridge has explained that to you to your satisfaction?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. And you also agree that you'll make no attempt to assert a Fifth Amendment privilege if you're questioned on these matters. You understand that, right? So,
Yes, sir.
yeah, so if you're called later, if it's something you have to testify to, you'll have to testify in accordance with that, all right? All right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Do you have any questions about the plea that has been entered in this particular case, Mr. Beebe? Anything you want me to answer?
No, sir.
All right. Are you otherwise satisfied with the advice and counsel of your attorney, Mr. Partridge?
Yes, sir.
All right. And do you have any questions about any of the indictment or any of the plea documents that you have been asked or have been presented to you?
No, sir.
All right. And do you give this, let me just ask you this one more time. As to counts 1, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 27, and 28, how do you plead to these particular counts under the indictment as they pertain to you?
Guilty.
And you give this guilty plea freely and voluntarily, means your own decision to enter a plea this afternoon?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And sir, then I find that based upon the responses that you've given in the colloquy in this case and the court's questioning of you, that your pleas are freely and voluntarily entered. I find a factual basis. I'm going to go ahead and accept your pleas as tendered and negotiate, sentence you to the as indicated. You're 23 years old. You've had enough trial in your life at this point in time. Would you agree?
Yes.
Time to have a little testimony. Time to reclaim your own life, and that you can do in this case, or if you just separate yourself from the people that you've been hanging out with. Find some new friends. Find some new people that are going to be positive in your life, and if they don't add to your life, then you need to cut them loose, because that's the way you'll be able to have a decent life, and a life where you won't have to worry about somebody doing this all the time, knocking on your door trying to find you for some other reason, or also put your life at risk. So just something to think about, okay? But do you have any other questions of me?
No, sir. Thank
All right, young man, then that's that.
No, let me cook. Oh boy. Thugger, man. They are breaking YSL. They have broke YSL the fuck down. I can't, cause it's enough niggas they done broke from the click down. Yo, this nigga pleads guilty right before the trial. Right before the fucking, the day of the trial, right before the trial, this nigga pleads guilty. It's not looking fucking good, y'all. Who know about this? Paul Muson, like some sweet Kool-Aid. Shout out Project Pet, man. This one for you, Thugger. Yo, I think they want to give Young Thug like 20 years, yo. I think they gave, all right, so if you didn't understand all that, so roughly the young dude, a lot of shit ran concurrent, and he's gonna have to do like 5-6 years maybe after good time and probation, whatever, parole, whatever you get, right? So if he got 5, that was a plea out though. and taking it to trial. See, this is what it was. He didn't want to take it to trial because he didn't feel confident. And it's not even only because he didn't feel confident, it's because if you lose that trial in front of a jury and you're facing 40 fucking years, they're going to give you 40 fucking years. They're not going to give you 40 and suspend. The jury can't do that. Only the judge can suspend. That's why people take pleas, and that's why people do bench trials instead of jury trials. In this case, you can't do a fucking bench trial because this is a fucking RICO charge. But, man, it might be over for bro, man. Damn. And if Thug even told him to do that, because you could look at it like that, maybe Thug sent the message, hey, man, he 23, hey, let him go, man. Or I really don't feel like that. I don't know. Man, it might be over for my nigga Thug, bro. They done broke the whole gang down, bro. It was only like a handful of them left that ain't flipped yet. Thug might take a plea, bro. Thug might take a 10-year plea. I'm saying 10 years because I know they ain't gonna win it as the leader. He ain't gonna do no damn. They ain't gonna give him no 5 years. I mean, I don't know, but if the under niggas is getting 5 years, and whether it's probation suspended, whatever, then imagine what he gonna fucking get, bro. Like, he need a miracle, bro. He need a technicality thing, something that the courts did wrong, something that the police did wrong, to a major piece of evidence, because Thug is looking cooked. He look, I'm so... Oh. I tell you, man, trouble is easy to get in, bro. But it is so hard to get out, my nigga. You know, all them fucking crazy charges, carjacking, armed robbery. That little dude just took a plea for some serious ass charges, not just being a member of a gang or having a stolen gun. This nigga was active, and he 23, so that means that he probably was. He was fucking with them at 11, because this trial, this case dates back to like 10 years or something like that, 12 years. So it's like, I know Thug in the cell like DMX. Lord, give me your sign. Dang. Free Thugger, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think going on, man. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm smoking gas, feel like I cute. Feel like I cute. Bitch, I'm smoking gas, I feel like I cute. I feel like I cute. Bitch, I'm smoking gas, I feel like I cute. Yeah, I feel like I cute. Bitch, I'm smoking gas, I feel like I cute. Yeah, I feel like I cute. I'm sipping that red solo like I cute. Yeah, I got all these bitches on.